It has been 7 weeks since I got my fish in the mail, and if you want to see a video of that, I'll put a link up here so you can watch that if you missed it. I wanted to do an update on how my fish are doing, and for the most part, they are doing very well. There is one fish that I'm concerned about, and I'll show you that fish at the end. But let's start with our red zebras. So I got these two cherry red zebras, and they are doing awesome. This is my tank boss right here. I call him Big Red, and then this is Scarlet. And then I've got 3 OB red zebras, and I got those from a different place. Let's see, Imperial Tropicals is where I got those
Tropics.
from. And then what was the other one? The first
Tampa
one?
Bay.
Tampa Bay Cichlids. Tampa Bay Cichlids is where I got these two from. And then Imperial Tropicals, or Tropics, is where I got these guys from. I've also got 2 of the regular red zebras here, and a bigger one, also the regular red zebra. And these ones I got from Imperial, and then this one I actually got from a local PetSmart. And this one I had in my 10-gallon tank for quite a while before she joined the others. And she was really, really aggressive in that tank, so I was pretty sure I was going to rehome her. But she has really mellowed out in this tank, and yeah, she's doing really well. So she actually might be the one that I keep, because I actually really like her. She's doing really well, she's really healthy, and she's definitely not overly aggressive now that she's in the big tank with lots of other fish and she's not the tank boss anymore. And then I'm looking towards this one to keep, this one with less spots. I really like that one. So those are the 4 I'm probably going to keep and then rehome the rest as they get a little older. Now my Perlmutts, they are all doing really well. Here's Gandalf. He is the dominant male, and then I've got 3 females and then 1 other male here. And the 1 male came from Imperial, the other 4 came from Tampa Bay. Now I was hoping the one that came from Imperial Cichlids was going to be a girl, but I couldn't choose, and so he is actually a boy, and he is more aggressive than Gandalf, even though he's not the dominant male, so I'm probably going to rehome him. Now moving on to the saulosi. They are doing awesome. When I first got them, they were very, very ripped up. Their fins were totally ripped up because they came in a little bag altogether. They have grown so much. They were just tiny when I got them, and they've grown, and their fins have healed up, and they are doing really well. There are a few of them that are starting to show some black on their fins, so hopefully we'll be able to see them turning blue within, I don't know how long it takes. Hopefully within a few weeks or months, I don't know. But I think by the time they're a year old, hopefully they should be blue, so that will be cool to see. And then our rusty cichlids. I don't see any. Oh, there's one over here. Oh, there's another one. Rusty cichlids. So I got 4 rusty cichlids. The 3 in here are doing pretty well. But the final rusty cichlid, or the smallest rusty cichlid, is the one that I'm worried about. So here's the little tiny fish. His name is Tiny Tim. I don't know if it's a boy or girl. But this little guy has been the smallest since we got him, and he's just not growing very well. And I've been keeping an eye on him, making sure he's eating. And he is, but then this morning I woke up, or I checked on him, and he is just, he's torn up. His fins are just shredded to pieces. And where he hasn't been gaining very much weight, I mean, he just looks really skinny. And like I said, he's completely beat up. I don't know who's beating him up. If I knew who was beating him up, I would definitely just take that fish out. There he goes, he's hiding. But I have no clue who's beating him up. And so I need to get him out of here before he dies. I'm a little worried. There are some other rusties. So what I'm going to do is take all the rusty cichlids out, all 4 of them. It's unlikely that they are the ones that are beating him up. Rusties are supposed to be very mild, not aggressive, non-aggressive compared to other Mbuna. I have my suspicions. I think it's probably the saulosi. They can be really nippy with each other and aggressive. I've never seen anyone chasing him, but I'm guessing it's happening at night. So I'm going to take out all the rusties, put them in the 10-gallon tank, let them grow out until that poor little guy gets bigger. So I actually decided to put him in the 10-gallon tank all by himself instead of having all 4 rusty cichlids in there. Partially because I was having a hard time netting all of them. I only netted Tiny Tim, which was super easy. He basically just swam right into the net, and then one of these others, and I couldn't catch the other 2. And when I had the one that's not Tiny Tim in there, it was freaking out. I had it in there for almost the whole day, and it was just zooming up and down the glass, back and forth. It was super stressed out. And I realized that if I kept them in that tank long enough for Tiny Tim to grow big enough, like I probably want him at least this big, they would probably all be a little too big for that tank, that little tiny 10-gallon tank. So I decided I'm just going to keep him there, even though it's not ideal to have an African Cichlid all by itself. But I think in his case, he just needs to heal up, and I think he'll be fine by himself. He's not stressed out in that tank at all. He's relaxed. He's eating well. He was eating well in here too, but he wasn't growing for some reason. I actually measured him when I got him because he was supposed to be 0.75 to 1 inch long, and he was just under 0.75. And then I measured him again. I didn't take him out and measure him. I just put a ruler up next to the tank. And he is about 1 inch now. So he has grown, but not very much. These 2 right here, Speck, which I call the spotted one, and then this one, were about the same size as Tiny Tim, and now they're about twice his size. So he's not growing as fast as he should be. So hopefully, with him in the other tank, with no one picking on him, he should be able to grow and be healthy. And then when I add him back in this tank, I'll rearrange the rocks, and that's when I'll rehome my extra red zebras and my extra perlmutts or perlmutt. And so that should change the dynamics of the tank, and he shouldn't get picked on, hopefully, when I put him back in. I need to talk to you guys about the plants too, the jungle val, because as everyone knows, African cichlids eat plants. Also, they have very hard water, so it's hard to even find plants that will grow in a tank with them. So the jungle val overall is doing pretty well. I did have some melt back, and these guys do like to munch on it. There's usually pieces of it floating all around. There's little bites taken out of it. I'll show you a close-up of the little bites and stuff. But it does have a lot of new growth. So as long as it can keep growing faster, then the fish can eat it, it should be okay. I did also have to take out my orchids that were growing in here because these guys decided the orchid roots were a very tasty snack, and they were totally devouring the orchid roots. So I put the orchid back in, or I moved the orchid over into a tank. One other thing about this tank that I'm concerned about that bothers me, sorry about all the noise in the background, is the brown algae. Now I just barely wiped everything down in here, so you can still see some on the sides where I didn't get. But the brown algae all over the rocks, all over the glass, all over the substrate. It's not actually algae, it's diatoms, and I talk a little more about that in my shrimp video, so you can watch that. But it is just taking over this tank, and it's not getting better. It's really common to have that in a new setup, but I've had this tank set up for 14 weeks, so I wouldn't count that as new anymore. And it's not getting any less. It's still going strong. So I decided to test my water for silicate because I did some research, found out that it grows really well when there's lots of silicate. My tap water is very high in silicate, and so as I do water changes, I'm refueling this tank with more silicate, and it's just going to be a losing battle. So I'm going to get some silicate remover and try that and see if that helps. Just put it in the filter, and hopefully that will help. I hesitated doing that because I really do want some green algae to grow, And green algae likes to feed off of phosphates and silicate as well. The thing I'm getting removes the phosphates and the silicate. So we'll see. I don't really have much green algae growing anyway, so I guess might as well not have any brown algae either. So we will try that, see how that works. But overall, yeah, I'm really happy with the tank. I'm really happy with these fish. They are really fun to watch. As you can see, they're not shy. I've got them here in the living room, and we jump around. I've got 5 kids. We jump around, we walk around. Everyone's always here, so they're very outgoing and usually out of the rocks. They just hide at night most of the time. So yeah, thanks for watching my update. I hope you enjoyed. Bye.